The haunting of the plains of Abraham. On a misty evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the ancient city of Quebec was cloaked in an eerie twilight. Among its many historic sites, the plains of Abraham stood out, not just for its beauty and historical significance, but for the tales of ghostly apparitions that had lingered for centuries. The year was 1759, and the fate of North America hung in the balance. The British, under the command of General James Wolfe, faced off against the French forces, led by the formidable Marquis de Montcalm. The battle that ensued on September 13th was swift and brutal. Cannon fire echoed through the air, musket shots crackled, and the clash of swords has created a symphony of chaos. In just 15 minutes, the field was strewn with the bodies of fallen soldiers, both British and French. General Wolfe and Montcalm were among the casualties, their leadership extinguished amidst the fury of battle. Fast forward to the present day, and the plains of Abraham have transformed into a serene park, a place where locals and tourists can come to enjoy the peaceful scenery. But as the last rays of sunlight fade and darkness envelops the park, the air grows heavy with the weight of the past. One evening, as the clock struck midnight, a lone visitor decided to take a late-night stroll through the park. The moon cast an otherworldly glow on the landscape, illuminating the monuments that stood in honor of the fallen. As the visitor walked, a sudden chill ran down their spine. From the corner of their eye, they glimpsed a shadowy figure moving among the trees. Intrigued and a little frightened, the visitor followed the shadow. As they approached, the figure became clearer, an apparition of a soldier, his uniform tattered and bloodstained, his eyes vacant and hollow. The ghostly soldier marched silently across the field, disappearing into the darkness, leaving the visitor frozen in place. The sound of distant drumming broke the silence. Rhythmic and steady, the visitor turned towards the source and saw the faint outline of a young drummer boy, his face a mask of solemn duty. The boy's spectral form faded in and out of view, the drumming growing louder and then softer, as if caught in a time loop from that fateful day in 1759. Suddenly, the visitor heard the unmistakable sounds of battle, the clash of steel, the roar of cannons, and the cries of wounded men. The visitor looked around, but there was no one else in the park. The sound seemed to rise from the very ground, as if the land itself was reliving the horrors of the past. Then, out of the mist that had begun to form, two figures emerged near the monuments. They were dressed in the elaborate uniforms of 18th century military officers. One was a British officer, his features unmistakably of General James Wolfe, and the other a French officer, the resolute Marquis de Montcalm. They stood facing each other, their ghostly forms shimmering in the moonlight. The visitor watched in awe as the two apparitions saluted each other, shown respect that transcended death and time. Just as quickly as they had appeared, the apparitions of Wolfe and Montcalm faded into the mist, leaving the visitor standing alone in the eerily silent park. The chill in the air lifted, and the sounds of the modern world slowly returned. The visitor, still in daze, forever changed by the experience. The tale of the haunting of the plains of Abraham is not just a ghost story, it's a bridge to the past, a reminder of the bravery and tragedy that once unfolded on those hallowed grounds. As long as the plains remain, so too will the echoes of that fateful day, whispered through the wind, And seen in the mists that rise from the earth, the spirits of Wolf, Montcalm, and countless soldiers continue their eternal watch, haunting the very land where they fought and fell, ensuring that their story is never forgotten.